Okay, I'm ready for the whole Mario Wii speedrunning thing. I haven't done it in a while. Oh, wait, damn it, I forgot about the timer. Alright, hold on, I can fix this. Alright, we have our timer here. There's not much space on the screen. Okay, we can fix this. Let's have the timer right there. Yeah, let's have it right there. Then we'll just shrink Mario Wii down a bit. It's not that big of a deal. We can make the timer fit the whole screen if necessary. Besides that, yeah, Mario Wii. We only need this much space for Mario Wii. So, I think that's basically all we need. That's a good looking timer. It's very easy, precise, clear. You know, you could definitely tell what's going on. So, great timer. And the best part is that I could still see a lot of Mario Wii. You know, it doesn't look too squished or anything like that. It looks pretty reasonable. Okay. They should have really allowed you to, but they don't. So we're gonna be sitting here for a bit. You know, it's just a Mario Wii speedrun. Nothing too crazy. And oh, I see. Yeah, this is something new. The timer's looking really nice in the corner. Very easy to read it for anyone to understand it, for sure. So we're just gonna, yep, go doing the thing that you can definitely tell everything's looking fine. I don't know why people don't do this more often. You don't just have the timer squished down part of the screen, because it's not really that big of a deal. Like, you can't even tell that it's squished. No. I'm ready to start this timer. I'm ready to get it going. So let's begin. Ready to start it? And and go. Okay, so here we go. Here's our timer. We have a really good timer here. Yeah, very good looking. So let's go speedrun the Mario. I'm gonna just get a power up here first, because you never know what can happen these days with speedrunning. Like, everything's, you know, you can't just go fast all the time with speedrunning. Sometimes you gotta take it slowly. And because that will be the true best way to speedrun Mario. Is to just sometimes calm down and did it slowly. So we're just gonna be running. And you know, sometimes you take damage to speedrunning, but it is fine. You don't have to really worry about that. And as you can see, we're making great time right now. Only about a minute passed, and so we're just gonna go beat the Mario level right there. Okay, so it's actually kind of hard to set the timer, so we're gonna make more space for it. I'm gonna switch the screen a little. We're gonna make the timer a bit more visible here on the screen. And as you can see, it's a lot easier to read now. So, and Mario still looks pretty alright. He's not too concerned about the situation. The timer is visible, Mario is visible, everything's fine. So we can just go into the second level and get so yeah, there's Mario. He's running, and sometimes you just kind of wall jump backwards when you're speedrunning, and that's just a normal part of life. Very normal. Don't worry. So I mean, we're still making great time, as you can see. Everything's going swell. No major issues so far. Not much turbulence happening. We're about at 2 minutes. It's going well. You just have Mario go to the flag here, and away he goes. But to be honest, it's still kind of hard to read the timer, so it looks a little squished. So we're gonna make a bit more space for it. We're just gonna have we're just gonna make some more space for the timer. See, now you can see a lot more. Now the timer is very readable, and Mario Wii still looks totally fine. You know, not that big of an issue. We gotta go get the secret exit in this one. So let's and sometimes you just kind of lose your propeller, and then people may say, oh, but it's very crucial for Mario Wii speedrunning. And to those people, I say, don't listen to other people think. You only have to believe in yourself, and sometimes you don't even need Yoshi, because they say, oh, you at least need Yoshi for the secret exit. Well, sometimes you don't have to listen to other people, but I will say you probably should at least have Yoshi for the secret exit. That is a necessity. That you should definitely have one of those. So we're just gonna use some Yoshi. Yeah, we're gonna take him with us. Because, you know, Yoshi's a very crucial part of speedrunning, and if anyone tells you that you don't need Yoshi to get the secret exit 1-3, you could tell them that they're incredibly wrong, and shouldn't listen to any other opinion besides the one that I'm saying right now, because it's not an opinion, it's facts. Though, to be honest, the timer's still, like, kinda squished, so let's make some more space for it. We gotta see more of the timer. Okay, now that is a good amount of timer. We can really read that, and as you can see, we're making great time here. We're on pace to beat the world record by about 20 minutes. So we can, which is really nice. So if we can just get past this cutscene real quick, yeah, that'd be great. There we go. So we're just gonna enter this cannon here and shoot us off to our world, and as you can see, excellent time right now. Better than all the speedrunners ever. Like Shigeru Miyamoto, we're better than him at speedrunning Mario Wii. And now we're gonna land in 5 and. Let's just begin the next stage in our run here. Because that's how it works. You know, sometimes you gotta save your game because you never know if you're gonna be running. Saving your game usually saves time when you get a game over. You don't have to start over from the very beginning of the game. So that's usually a plus that I recommend going for. And sometimes you do need to turn around occasionally, get goodies, and like this one for example, because in the long run it really does just help you. And because I mean, in the end though, the real world record was the friends who made it. But until that happens, or if you're playing in single player like me, you know, the real treasure was actually the world record. So that's in cases like that, you kind of just gotta win correctly. Come on. I can do this. Man, it's probably because the timer isn't big enough. Okay. So sometimes in speedrunning, you come across a bit of a problem that wastes a lot of your time, and in that case, you turn right back around, and in the end, this ends up actually saving time because you've identified the issue that would have hurt you later. It's very good. Trust me, all the speedrunners do this. Yes, very well. Then you sometimes just gotta jump back in the water to get the fire flowers, Mario's, because it saves time, and that it does. So we're just gonna keep doing this here, and we're gonna kind of just run our way along here until we sometimes there's secrets, but those usually waste time, so you don't want to go for them unless they save time. If you want to know which ones waste time and save time, just the ones that add more time to your clock overall are the ones that waste time, and the ones that don't add as much time to your clock save time. So that's how you know. It's a very secret technique to figuring that out. My grandfather taught me that one. So yeah, that's a very helpful tip. And sometimes, you know, there's gonna be weird looking plants that you're gonna have to 1v1 bar fight sometimes in order to really become a true speedrunner. In that case, you better hope you brought flamethrower, because that's actually very effective against the plants of this caliber. Very helpful. And then sometimes you find people who've just been locked in chests for days, and they usually will take off a couple seconds off your clock. But that's besides the point. Speaking of the clock, it's still kind of too small, so we're gonna create a bit more space for it. So now we can see a lot more of the time, because it was a bit too squished before. We're just gonna continue right here. With better, easier to see timer, and now that we can read the timer, because we weren't able to before, it was a bit too squished. Now we can tell that we're making good time here. We're just gonna enter the stage. So we're just gonna, sometimes you need to break the laws of reality and kind of just click through a bunch of giant worms in order to achieve success. I think Winston Churchill said that one. Or was it Barack Obama? Don't say that. Don't quote me on that one. So, anyways, sometimes you die in speedrunning, and when you do that, most people would say reset the run. But what I have to say about that is that if you reset the run, that actually uses up a lot of time on your clock. Because you're having to play from the very beginning. So I'd recommend never ever resetting a run ever when you take. That'll definitely help you out later in life. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So you're just gonna kinda keep running, and until eventually you make it to the end. And as you can see, we're making excellent time. We're on pace to beat the world record by about 35 minutes. So I'd say that's usually a good thing. If you want to really get that world record, you got to be pretty far ahead in pace. So it's always a good sign. So it's kind of hard to read the timer, so we're gonna just make a bit more space for it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we can see more of the timer, and we're just gonna end this right here. This tower. Because sometimes Mario is not just about going to the right, it's also about going to the left. That can best be this little stage. You may notice that, as the timer is starting to get more and more visible, because clearly it was way too squished before, you might be starting to lose a bit of vision on the actual game aspect. That's actually speedrunning technique. As you can see, it actually looks like I'm moving left and right faster, and that's because I am. You see, squishing the game definitely gives you the speed advantage. The hidden trick on the Adobe called squishing the screen on OBS to have a change of perspective. I don't know how I ever got that name. I think it was coined by Abraham Lincoln. Look that one up. So we're just gonna keep jumping, and then kind of sometimes you get crushed, but that's fine. That happens sometimes. And when you do that, and I mean that you may have been about to reach the checkpoint, so you kind of just wasted a lot of time. But it's fine because remember how we established that we were 42 minutes ahead of the world record. So we're able to make that kind of makes up for the lost time we just had. We're able to still kind of recover here and get that world record because of that extra time that we had given ourselves to beat it. See, that's why you gotta make sure you're always ahead. You're one step ahead of the game in that kind of manner. So we're just gonna keep climbing the tower here. Yes. And sometimes randomly crouching in place actually charges up Mario's speed, so I always recommend that as a technique that you could try at home. So we're just gonna keep climbing this tower and going up. There's our checkpoints, and these are usually very helpful because if you die, I may have established this a bit before. I may have kind of mentioned in passing. If you die, that usually uses up quite a bit of time. So by running out of your way to get a checkpoint, it means that if you ever die, I mean, you're chilling. You know, you don't waste nearly as much time. And now people may say the solution is to just not die in the first place. And to that I say that you bring up a good point, but you know, when you're really getting into speedrunning, sometimes you just die and you don't really wanna start over again. So you know, you kind of just have to roll with it occasionally. And that's okay. We're gonna go enter the boss fight against what was his name? The guy with glasses. Yeah, that's him. So we're gonna. The cool thing about this is that if you touch the ground, you contract a bad case of the flu. So I recommend not doing that unless you just kind of stay on the yellow platforms, because if you ever touch the ground, you may you may get a little sick. But it's fine because any good speedrunner comes with antibiotics in their pockets at all times for when situations like that happen. And they make sure to always land in between two platforms at the end of the fight, that they never touch the ground. Don't contract the flu too from the creators of influenza virus. So we're just gonna kind of continue onwards with the speedrun experience. Now you notice the child may have tried to run away to the castle, but we're just actually gonna ignore him, because we never needed him. It was never, and as you can see, we're making great time. But the timer is still kind of hard to see, so we're gonna make a bit more space for it. There we go. Okay, now it's a lot easier to see the timer because before it was kind of squished. So we're gonna save our game once again, just in case. You never know these days. And we're gonna enter the ground level now. If anyone was screaming at me or dropping the propeller because graph skip, to them I say sometimes if you need to not do raft skip, because you know, you need to just take it slow, and that's a good tip in speedrunning. Sometimes you can just take it slow and sit down on 5-minute boat ride, and it's good for your health. Trust me, my dog tried it once and he became traumatized of poison, but I think we all are these days. So let's just freeze the Koopas in midair, and there we go. And then during this time, because you have a lot of time to kill, you might as well start asking some really weird philosophical questions, like why are these guys falling out of the sky? Like, why do they kind of keep coming and they don't stop? Like, they don't stop showing up. And so then you kind of wonder, you know, how do these troops of Bowser really feel about their whole situation of having to work for that guy? Do they really like their job? Like, what's their pay? And so these are interesting questions you can ask yourself while you're on this boat ride. And you know, I'd also recommend reading some nice novels you may have brought with you. I don't really have any to recommend, but yeah, just have that prepared, I guess. So anyways, then the plants start falling from the sky, and you wonder, and then like the next step of the whole philosophical conundrum comes about, as you wonder, how are plants falling from the sky? Like, how were they alive before that, while being attached to the ground enough that they could just drop on us like that? And then you're told that you're playing, you remind yourself, you're playing, you're speedrunning here, and you need to not only move fast, but you also gotta think fast, and that means you're not allowed to dwell on any topic ever. And if you do, you'll be arrested for something, I don't know. So, we're just gonna ignore everything we talked about, and as you can see, we're making great time right now. We're just kinda gonna continue on our way. And we're just gonna go into the flagpole right here and get some extra lives, because you know, you never know when you need them. So yeah, we're making great time, but we are gonna have to make a bit more space for the camera because it's kind of squished. So we're just gonna make a there. Okay, now we can really read that timer, and as you can see, it does say that we are in fact 1 hour and 20 minutes ahead of the world record. And now you see we may have come across a bit of a problem because vines kind of block our way. And so in cases like that, you may what you really gotta do is kind of just jump into a pit of poison, because vines don't really like it when you do that and will retract in another direction for you. You know, it works every time. We're just gonna kind of jump in there, and it saves a lot of time rather than having to beat again. So now we have the path open to the ghost house.
It's a go time.
Now, if you ever get lost in a ghost house in real life, what I'd say is to don't. I just never want to get lost in one of these places, because I hear that if you do, like, the chances of you making it out alive are about like about 1 in 237,000, and those odds aren't really favorable in most scenarios. So I'd recommend just kind of not getting lost, like not forcing yourself into that situation. Yeah, it's just what I kind of all around recommend. Anyways, I've come to the realization that after this level, we might need more space for the timer because it's getting kind of hard to see. So we're just going to kind of take the opportunity right now to make a bit more space for the timer. There we go. Okay, now we can really read the timer, and as you can see, we are perfectly on pace to beat the world record by about 2 hours. End here and head on down to go.
Let's go.
Now the cannon levels I always consider the hardest levels in the game, because there's a lot of enemies on them and a lot of hazards that can end up killing you. But the worst part is making sure you press down at exact moments at the cannon, because if you slip, you look really stupid. We're just gonna kind of fly over the trees and land in a volcano because how they work. You know, I never even really thought about it this way, but World 8 and New Super Mario Bros. Wii, like, fundamentally has a very similar layout to World 8 in Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on the controller. Anyone else ever thought about that? Or is that just me? Okay, so anyways, sometimes haters want to drag you down. They send toxic gas at you, and in that situation, what you want to do is run for your freaking life, because, and now, I'd recommend personally not falling into lava, but sometimes you kind of have to, because, I mean, anything to escape that poisonous gas, right? But, unfortunately, the poisonous gas may call you, right? In that scenario, I'd recommend panicking, but, like, correctly so that you don't die. That's probably the best recommendation, personally, that I would give to anybody who's experiencing poisonous gas. Being kind of set at them. So we're just gonna kind of, sometimes, you know, magma comes out of the freaking lava, and you know, you just have to sit there, and then you'll fall. You might fall in lava again, but it's okay, because it's better than dying in the gas, because dying wastes a lot of time. So we try to avoid that poisonous gas as much as we can, and we did do a pretty good job of that, though jumping in the lava has unfortunately brought us a bit closer to the poisonous gas than we liked. We're gonna try to avoid that from now on. Now, another thing you may notice is that there are, like, meteors falling from the sky. I usually ignore that, depending on the day of the week. If it's like a Sunday, I might pay a bit of attention to it. I usually don't see meteors falling down on a Sunday, at least here in Florida. We usually get them on Tuesdays. So, which is still kind of irregular considering that it's like a Monday right now, but it's fine, whatever. We're just gonna kinda keep doing what we're doing, and things will probably turn out well eventually. Let's really get this going. So sometimes you gotta take a couple practice attempts and before you can really get started with your Mario Wii speedrun. And sometimes those practice attempts can take place during the actual speed run if you don't really have time to do them otherwise. And that's totally okay, because it definitely ends up saving time in the long run. Because when you got that skill mastered, you know, it definitely helps. So I recommend spending about, like, I'd say about 50 minutes during, like, halfway through your speedrun, just practicing the levels you're about to take on. And if you beat the levels, you probably haven't practiced them enough, so you might need to do them again during the speedrun anyway, take a practice. So yeah, that's definitely what I'd recommend. Sometimes you kind of just have to do like really sick moves. It's kind of necessary sometimes if you want to win, like for reals. That just happens. Then you enter the pipes and kind of beat the level. Finally, we escape that toxic gas that the hater sent over, and now we can just kind of enter the inside of a volcano like more than we already were. Though before we do that, I gotta say it's kind of hard to see the timer right now, so we're gonna make a bit more space for it. Not too much because it's getting a bit easier to see the timer by now, but just a bit because it was still kind of hard to see. It was a bit squished. Now we can really see that timer very well, and as you can see, we are perfectly on pace to beat the world record by about 5 days. We're gonna just really gonna enter the pipe here. Now, it's usually at this point in life where you discover something interesting, which is that somehow in the Mario universe, hazards kind of just spawn out of thin air, definitely. And you don't know how they happen, you don't know how giant metal spike balls kind of just appear in an underground cave. But they just do, and that's, you kind of just have to accept that as a part of life. But I learned to accept that a long time ago. And now I'm living a lot more of a happy life. Once I've accepted that giant spike balls just form in underground volcanoes forever, and since then, you know, I've just felt a lot better about everything. So, you know, yeah, that's something I recommend. On here. Sometimes you kind of just want to run against the this treadmill here. Very nice treadmill for exercise, I recommend, but you know, we're currently speedrunning, so we're not, exercise is not really allowed in that field. So anyways, I'm just saying the timer is a little bit pushed right now, so we're gonna make a bit more space for it right now. Okay. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. That's a good space for the timer. No, and the game is still perfectly viewable. I wouldn't say it's too squished or anything. There's still a lot of space to see the game. We're gonna get to the next level. We only got like 3 more levels to go, and we're on pace to beat the world record by, I believe, about 12 weeks. Though it may be 13. Not too sure at the point. So then you kind of just have to ride on a roller coaster sometimes, and that kind of gives you a break. It's usually a lot more of a relaxing stage compared to what we previously experienced, and there's not that many hazards or threats. It's kind of just like a nice relaxing roller coaster ride, and that's pretty good. That's pretty nice. We're just gonna kind of keep going here. Just on this roller coaster. anyways, that was a pretty relaxing roller coaster ride. So we're gonna hop off that one and decide to ride on a very different roller coaster. It's, as you can tell, it's very different, brand different kind of theming. No, I definitely rate this one higher than the previous roller coaster we rode on. Very nice and relaxing and soothing experience. We're just gonna keep riding this roller coaster here. And sometimes roller coasters show up in life, and you kind of just pick the one that doesn't throw you. As in the one that doesn't throw you straight into lava. It's kind of the roller coaster that I usually pick. So it's all your preference. I'm not gonna really judge you, whatever roller coaster you pick. Though what I am gonna say is that the timer is still kind of squished, so we're gonna make a bit more space for it. There we go. Okay, now it's very easy to timer, though I might have to make a bit more space soon because it's clearly legible, though a bit squished. The timer, I mean. We're gonna go and enter this stage. So let's go do that. We got about 2 levels left, and we're on pace to beat the world record by I'd say about 4 years, give or take a few days. We're just gonna kind of get in this here. Sometimes you gotta break boxes because you never know if they contain any goodies or anything of that sort. You just have to be safe sometimes. And sometimes they give you the funny hat, which is definitely my favorite type of hat, the funny ones. So we're just gonna kind of keep running along with this funny hat until we lose it tragically. But it's fine because everything's okay. Even though we lose the funny hat, it goes on, and we kind of just have to deal with it. The loss. We're just gonna grab ourselves another propeller here, and you know, in speedrunning, you really need that propeller in order to survive and thrive in society. We're just gonna wait for our little bus stop to show up here. Sometimes in speedrunning, you kind of just gotta wait for things. You gotta take it a bit slow. All right, let's do this. Go. And you know, sometimes the walls try to crush you and stuff, and you... Let me think, why would anyone design an airship like this for, like, any purpose besides being an obstacle course? And then that's when you run into a child. So, you know, sometimes you kind of just have to murder turtle children in order to progress. Not just speedrunning, but I'd say, like, in general, it creates a lot of character development. So if you see any turtle children, I'd recommend kind of just walking up to them and throwing a nice bomb in their face about 3 times or more, if necessary. It's just something I'd recommend. It's not really from any source. Maybe Albert Einstein said something a bit similar to that when he talked about murdering children in general, but I'm specifically referring to turtle children here. Yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. And you know, some people may say it's kind of hard to see the screen at this point, but that's no big deal. Anyone can handle this, I'd say, at least. And it's kind of just all about how you really feel about things, how you're comfortable with Mario Wii. So, like I said, timer, it's kind of hard to see. Let's make it a bit... There we go. Now that's an easy to see timer, and as you can see, we're pretty good pace. we have about one more level to go, and I'd say that it's very easy to see the screen, and I'm definitely not having to squint in order to see what the hell I'm doing. Not at all. So we're just gonna kind of... We got one more level to go, so it shouldn't be that bad. Let's just go ahead and kind of win here. Let's do this. Pretty excited about this one. Here we go. Dash Final Castle. Let's just kind of beat the game. And you know, sometimes in life you come across a situation you're really struggling at this point to make out what the hell is going on the screen because you've been too busy covering up with a timer, and you did not switch the screen in post. You're actually doing this live while recording, and you know, in that case, you kind of just have to rely on the muscle memory at that point. It's just a very common situation that happens in speedrunning. Personal experience, I'd say, at least with speedrunning Mario Wii. I don't know about any other games. Yeah, this just kind of happens sometimes, and it's usually because Bowser just looking to interfere with your speedrun because he wants you to suffer in life. And there are many Bowsers in the world. There are many types of people who I consider will really be a good representation of Bowser as a person. And those people you kind of gotta look at in the face and say, you suck. You know that? So that's what you have to say to those people. You have to tell them that they suck. You're not gonna listen to them. And they can tell you to stay in school, and you're gonna tell them, no, mom, I want to speedrun New Super Marvelous Wii for a living and make 99 coins. Because as soon as I make 100, all my money's gone, and I get an extra life. So I'll make exactly $99, mom. And then she'll look at you with like full fear in her eyes, and you will go right back to speedrunning your favorite video game experience, New Super Marvelous Wii. Speaking of which, we're at the final boss, and usually around this time you have to think that I mean, just kind of gonna just jump right into it, you know, really take on Bowser here because we gotta go fast, I'd say at least. So let's just kind of begin here. Let's just kind of run, and we're just gonna squeeze into the fireballs here because Bowser is really not good at shooting fireballs at people. He doesn't have good aim with that sort. We're just gonna go fight a giant turtle, but as you do, we're just gonna kind of spam fireballs, and if he jumps, we're just gonna. Okay, sometimes you take damage, and luckily he usually jumps like right around then. You make sure to time it. Bowser he definitely plans these kinds of things. So you think you might win, but you always gotta know, you gotta expect the unexpected. Because of course the best way to speedrun a game is speedrun a game you've literally never played before. You don't even know if the game's over after defeat Bowser the first time. Wow, what a twist. I can definitely, that was such a twist. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh gee. So as you can see, I'm flabbergasted by the fact that this even happened. Which is quite wacky. We're just gonna kind of run away for your life, because sometimes in life, literally the only way to really move on and succeed is to get the hell away from the giant turtle spewing fireballs at you. Because there's some situations in life where you really isn't any solutions left. And the intense opera music starts playing, or is that what it's called? Better be. Like the choir kicks in, and you kind of just have to. You might take a couple hits, and but it's fine because you know in the end you'll really get through it with the power of friendship and any weapons you find. I recommend usually the like a fire flower or something, maybe a knife. I don't know. I don't know if those are Mario games. I've never played a Mario game before. So then Bowser really kind of just sends in the and you might get hit by lava, but it's fine because it's established before. We made really good time in the past, and this shouldn't set us back too far. I'd say we're probably going to be getting a sub 200,000 time. That's a pretty generous guess, so I think it's definitely what's going to happen. Let us just take on Bowser again. Hello there, Bowser. That's a great thing about dying is that you no longer have to watch the cutscene before you start the second phase. Actually, a lot shorter, which saves time. So I definitely recommend dying. That saves time with the cutscene after you complete it once. So yeah, it's just a little tip I give. Alright, yeah. Doing your little magic thing. And then the large turtle shows up. So just a very normal thing to occur. So we're just gonna kind of run away. Well, that was established earlier, I just thought I should reiterate it. Sometimes if the giant fire-breathing turtle starts breathing fire at you, I usually recommend running in the opposite direction of the fire and of the turtle. Just a little life hack. If you dodge the fire, you don't die as often as you would if you, say, didn't dodge the fire. So, not many people know about that trick. You guys should know. Oh. And then something that really boosts morale when speedrunning is to hum the epic song you're hearing. You know, because it does in fact go hard no matter what the people say. And sometimes Bowser's fireballs kind of just destroy your one power-up that you had left in the entire game. And that's okay. And then you fall in lava in the exact same goddamn spot you fell in earlier, and that's also totally acceptable. So then you kind of just gotta go back, and you may be exhausted because you've been playing Mario Wii for like, you know, I'd say about 5 minutes straight. If you've really been keeping with the guide here, you know, you've been playing for about 5 minutes straight. As you can see on the timer, that is a little bit squished, though I think it's good enough so that I don't need to really make any more space for it. Besides, the game was starting to get a little bit harder to see near the end as it kept squishing the timer, so yeah, I'd say you don't really need to make more space for the timer anymore. Luckily, the game's still perfectly viewable, though. Okay, Bowser. If you talk it out with Bowser, it'll usually work out better in the end for you. I mean, usually an okay Bowser really works for me. But depending on how good friends you are with the turtle, you might wanna resort to a different form of diplomacy. Okay, I'm gonna kind of run away through here. Bowser's a bit of a slow poke, but that's okay. He's trying his hardest to make sure that we have a path open to complete our speedrun. He's trying his best, and I personally am I forgive him for his faults when it comes to making this go by a bit faster than it currently is. Because obviously it can go by a bit quicker than it is. But you know, Bowser's trying. He can only do so much. He's only one guy, and so I'm totally fine with the situation. And we're just gonna kind of hop down here and, you know, lose the power again. But it's totally okay because we'll recover. As you can see, gone to new heights. I actually don't believe any speedrunner has ever gotten this far into the game. I've only heard, like, you know, myths about getting to the second phase of the final boss. And, you know, as you can see, it's uncharted territory. I did in fact just die to it, but it's okay. It's totally fine and acceptable. We're just gonna try it again and see what happens. Hop in here. And you know, maybe at this point, if you're ever commentating to an audience, you may have run out of jokes to make because you've kept dying at the same goddamn point that you can usually clear on your first try. So at that point, you kind of just stay silent for at least a moment. And you know, that's totally okay because your audience can definitely handle you going silent for 5 seconds because they don't need constant attention. Because you have the best audience out of anyone on YouTube, and especially your subscribers. And, you know, they're great people. You'd probably trust with the deed to your house. And then for the part of the audience that hasn't yet subscribed, you should probably tell them kindly subscribe if they like your little commentary video. Your funny joke Mario Wii speedrun that you did because Mario looks really silly right now. Though you were probably most likely expecting it to go by a bit faster. But then you realize just how much you really do need to be able to actually see the game well in order to speedrun Mario Wii properly. And how much you would be affected by pushing the game down to be like 5 pixels tall. But you've learned your lesson now, and you've learned very important life lessons that will really help you out in life. That's always a good thing, I'd say. So something good does come out of the experience in the end. Now we're kind of just gonna here and let this. Oh. Ouch! Sometimes you get a little ouch from the Bowser, but it's totally okay. You'll always recover. You'll bounce back financially. And then maybe you might actually finally grab the power up this time before it melts away from you. There you go. Now we have our funny little power up. We can actually beat this for real. And that'll be the end of my little speedrun here. I'd say we're still about like, we may have used up a bit of time here because we died a couple more times than expected, but we still are about 5 minutes ahead of the world record, so I'd say it's still pretty good time. So you kind of just, at that point, you kind of just keep going, and you gotta get ready to stop the timer, which is, you know, so you gotta have your hand in a weird position, which may make it a bit harder to platform, so you kind of gotta wait the very last second, and that may require you taking a bit of damage, but it's okay in the end, because when you get that world record, everyone will love you, and you may die because you can't see where the hell Mario is, but that's totally fine, and you know, everyone would really appreciate it if your speedrun kept going until like 50 minutes. Everyone would really like that. Sometimes you may just take a bit of damage during the first Bowser phase, which is really embarrassing, but as long as you make it to the end and you don't die, then it's perfectly acceptable among the community. You won't be executed for it, at least as far as I know. Sometimes you kind of lose your one saving power up, but that's definitely okay in speedrunning, and you kind of just gotta adapt to the situation. It's definitely fine for sure. Because I mean, two things will happen: either you survive or you don't. So I'd say those are pretty good odds in most cases. We're just gonna grab ourselves this and hope that's enough. Okay. And then, you know, maybe at the very last second, at the very end of the video, before you truly end things for real, you're actually gonna try hard for once. And then claim that the rest was true. All the parts where you played poorly really was a joke. It wasn't just your rustiness after not really trying to speedrun this game for a while. And that's definitely the best way to go about doing it. Okay. Now, at this point, you kind of got to get your finger ready to stop the timer. And there we go. Wait. There we go. Alright, so I'd say that, you know, it took me a moment to stop the timer after hitting the switch. So, you know, it was kind of not highly accurate. So make it a bit more space because it's not hard to read the timer. Okay, so it appears that our final time was about 2 minutes and 32 seconds, which is, actually, hold on, let me get a closer look. It's hard to tell. Oh, okay, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. It was a 13 minutes and 5 seconds, which is a lot more reasonable. So,
Yay!
you know, I'm a pretty I'm a pretty good speedrunner, as you can see here. One of the most skilled in all the land. And I think what really helped me in this run was my ability to see the timer. That really let me know my pace. So that I'd say was definitely a plus. I don't know how to end this.